December 31st, 2024. This year will be my year. Finally, I'll get a girlfriend. I'll get fit, go to the gym, get my money up, and my funny up. Look, I know what they say about New Year's resolutions, but this time is different, because I know exactly what to do and how to do it. Besides, how hard could it be? I have a full 12 months ahead of me. I just need to relax tomorrow from partying all night, then meet up with my friends, then go to my job, clean the house after this huge mess, then I need to renew my insurance clause because these idiots made a clerical error on their part, and then I need to get my car checked for any issues because my engine's been making this weird sound I can't seem to get rid of, and that's quite a lot I need to do, but hey, at least I'm aware of it. Now, just let me take a quick nap to get the year started right as... What? Why is it still dark? Should be morning by now. And why is it snowing? December? December! May God be my witness. It was New Year's Eve yesterday. I didn't even process January. And it's December already? Did I just hibernate or something? No, this is impossible. I didn't even get to do anything. I didn't even get to laze around. A whole year has passed without me noticing. No. This was the year I fixed myself. And it just goes away. Now I have all the problems I had before. And I'm gonna be 1 year older soon. Wait, we're closer to 2030 than we are to 2020? It's so cooked. It's so over. How could I do this to myself? How could I fail again and again and again and again and again and again? Stop. Stop right there. We need to pause to think. A lot. So, if you're anything like me, 2025 was a blur. And that's an understatement. Mentally, summer hasn't even started for me. Maybe I'm just crazy, but I've been seeing so many memes talk about this exact thing, and that got me thinking, there's gotta be something to it. How is it that so many people feel like not only did 2025 pass by without people noticing, but everyone feels like they just wasted a year? And I have an answer. Multiple, actually. So the first thing you need to understand is that time is relative, aka fake. It is a phenomenon experienced by the perceiver, since you can actively alter time by going at really fast speeds. So it's not that there's a hidden conspiracy of the Earth spinning faster while we're told it's all the same. No, our individual feelings and thoughts determine how we perceive the passing of time. But what changed? Why do so many people feel like time is flying faster than a Chinese Dongfeng ICBM on its way to Estonia? For one, it's the damn phones. Easy but obvious answer. Most activities we do on the phone makes time fly by, because it constantly engages us. And our brains forget the vast majority of the stuff we watched on it, especially short-form content. But you know that. It goes even deeper. A lack of unique experiences also causes time to speed up immensely. And I think that this is one of the biggest factors in our collective gap year of 2025. Because of the terrible economy, nobody can afford to go out and go to third places to meet people, so they choose to stay at home instead and watch Pluribus all day, shipping Carol and Zosha together while their actual social lives rot. It's a compounding issue, since I even made a video about a similar phenomenon last year on how time was speeding up, because in our eyes, it is. Every day is the same. Or even if there is some variance, our days are so close and comparable to each other that they might as well just be the same. Actually, let's do a test. What unique things did you do last week? Just try and think about it. It doesn't even have to be anything crazy. For example, just trying a new flavor of a drink would count. For me at least, there was only 1 day out of the 7 that was unique. And if we extrapolate that to 2 weeks, or maybe even 3 weeks, it actually starts to make sense why everything feels like a time skip. Having like only 4 to 5 memorable days in a month makes the whole month forgettable. Even now, December has passed halfway, with you likely barely even noticing. Because you're too stressed about other things. And that's also part of the problem, stress being a compounding factor here. If you are in survival mode, you are living life on bare minimum settings. And I don't think it's your or my fault alone. For example, everybody's worried whether AI will replace their jobs or crash the market, and honestly, that fear is valid. The world is run by people who are psychopathic, insane, and dumb people, who think that they're geniuses bringing about the second coming of AI Jesus. Being stressed in such a world is a logical response, not a maladaptive behavior, at least in my opinion. But that doesn't mean we could just give in to all of the bad things happening and do nothing to improve our situation. Now, let's talk about this feeling of wasting a year, because this is the part that really gets most people. Wasting a day isn't bad at all. A week is a hiccup. A month is seasonal depression. But a whole year feels like an indicator of much bigger issues in your personal life. First, let's think about how we define something as a waste, because we don't live year by year. We don't even live day by day. We live millisecond by millisecond. So, let's take a look at what a wasted day looks like. For me, wasting a day is doing an activity I don't enjoy much, compulsively, like doom scrolling for example, even when I had more fun things planned, or I wanted to work on myself, or a passion project. Sound familiar? Because for a lot of people, especially in 2025, wasted days become their default, feeling like even something as easy as watching a movie is productive because they are right. Watching a movie is more productive than their current state of being because they are actually relaxing while watching a movie. Unlike our doom scrolling bed rotting habits that are much more stressful on top of being unproductive. Calling it a wasted day is not an exaggeration at all. You're in a constant state of waiting, a twilight zone of being mildly pleased to keep going, but not being engaged enough to truly feel satisfied and fulfilled. And here's the problem. Wasting a day can become your default if you keep making the same mistakes and keep participating in the same endless rot cycle of one bad habit after another. This feeling of having failed an entire year isn't the result of a single year-defining moment not being achieved. Like, let's say you become super productive in the last couple weeks that we have left. Would it save your whole year? The answer is it's unlikely, because what you have experienced is a pattern of inaction that kind of became your new normal because you are barely even living life. And it is made worse by the fact that people traditionally make big plans for the year and then become upset if they don't fulfill them. Fundamentally, our brains don't work like that, and viewing your progress over a specific time frame is a trap. You live in the now, and you need to figure out how to improve your life and get better in the now, instead of assuming that with enough time given, you'll start working on your goals eventually, because we can procrastinate indefinitely. As long as you're going to school or doing your job, society doesn't care much whether you feel satisfied in life or not, so we sadly have to figure it out ourselves. And most importantly, we have to figure it out now and not later. You have to change your state of being, not the time frame, since you'll always have the same body while seasons change, and the times themselves always do. But I think even if you somehow start living in the now, which isn't easy by the way, since you would need to make a conscious effort daily by initiating tasks through the smallest step possible, then keeping the momentum going for as long as you can, and properly resting so you can recover and do it tomorrow all over again. Like, it sounds easy, but it isn't, especially if you have executive dysfunction, which I actually made a video on if you want a more in-depth exploration as to why you can't do anything. But even if you can do something, constantly doing it might really be a problem for you, if you struggle with disassociation, which is the second big piece of the puzzle to our problem. There were a lot of memes about this year going by instantly, and they also tend to add the term disassociation. And while I understand that it's likely done for comedic effect, I don't think this word was chosen by accident, because disassociation is a very real and very dangerous psychological phenomenon, especially when combined with derealization, not knowing what's real and what is not anymore. And this usually happens after traumatic events, or things that could be perceived as traumatic. It is a very powerful defense mechanism of the brain, to remove yourself from a very painful situation. So let's assume you're not just joshing around, and your response to pain and suffering is detaching yourself from reality. Then it is also no wonder that the year passed in the blink of an eye for you, because you weren't fully conscious during most of it. And for the record, this year had a lot of traumatic events, like the stock market crashing massively after the tariff fiasco, causing people to lose a lot of their savings or fortune, SNAP benefits being removed. If you live in Western countries, you might feel like you're going clinically insane after your leaders all start playing a game of who is the most loyal and biggest fan of one particular desert country, witnessing a real assassination after Charles Kirk was counting or not counting gang violence. Heck, something as mundane as GTA 6 being delayed again can be a very painful experience for some people. A lot has actually happened this year. Things are constantly happening. But they're happening so quickly that nobody has time to process these events properly. And if you've developed a maladaptive response to pain that borders on full disassociation, there you have your central issue. Funnily enough, if this year was more boring, then it might have actually felt a lot slower for more people. It's not that nothing happened this year, and that's the reason as to why we feel it was so short. No, it's actually the opposite. With things constantly happening, it creates a constant, low-level buzz of stress in the background, that depending on how you deal with it, creates the conditions which inadvertently dictate your life, if you as an individual react to life instead of doing your own thing, regardless of the outside conditions. And when you are indeed reacting to life instead of living it based on your own volition, you will inadvertently let yourself be subject to life's many traumas and bad events. Actually, having a passive lifestyle where you detach yourself from the world and go on autopilot might as well be a real life time skip, since you, the player character, are just doing whatever in your head, while your body goes about its business. Some people actually start to live in autopilot and only come out for special occasions, an extremely dangerous state to be in since it requires little to no effort to continue but a whole lot of effort to break. And the autopilot mode is also less emotionally engaging, and this is important since the less emotionally engaged you are in something, the shorter time will feel, since again, our perception of it is subjective, and we've unwittingly traded boring lives with high caliber memorable moments with a constant state of never being bored, never being fully satisfied, and always being mildly stimulated. Actually, I want you to try and recall the last time you were really happy. Not mildly satisfied. I'm talking about laughing and giggling, having a great time to the point where you would look forward to doing it again. See what I mean? That's what was taken from us. A lot of us don't even have truly fun times to look forward to anymore. Instead, dreading the horrors of an ever-approaching future we feel is doomed. Actually, after learning how the mind can detach itself from the body as a response to a long-term, stress-based trigger that is causing you pain, it all makes sense to me. On top of all the micro-traumas we experience from the news, I feel like over time, these small cracks, if they aren't dealt with, culminate into us retreating into ourselves. Crises never end now. Threats are constant. The tigers are always near, and they're always out to get you. I honestly didn't even fully realize this was happening to myself, and I'm actively into psychology as a field of study. So if you didn't have a clue as to why every year feels like it's getting faster, it's not just you getting older, although that's a small part of it. It's mostly maladaptive long-term coping mechanisms, on top of life itself being detached now. I've talked about this before, but the fact that you can live your days without any human interaction or much physical sensation has caused our brain to forget things. For example, our memories are powerful when it comes to interacting with people. You accidentally say you too to a waiter that was bringing you your food, or you were slightly awkward at a particular conversational junction, or you tried to make a lighthearted joke in a group setting only for no one to react, leaving you wondering if anybody heard your joke or not. Maybe they're just being nice by pretending you didn't say it, but maybe they actually didn't hear it, so you should say it again. But what if they tell you they know and boom! Your brain remembers that puppy till the day you die. Of course, our interpersonal memories don't have to all be negative. For example, a nice lady complimenting the way you look, finding someone who's wearing a niche fandom shirt that you're really into and bonding over it. Pleasant or not, we have a really strong sense of memory when it comes to social interactions. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really remember what I wrote in online forums or whatever, but one time, a woman asked me if I was okay because she thought I looked upset, and honestly, one of the top 10 moments of my year, and I remember it vividly, because finally, my struggle didn't feel invisible. When you can't even say... Even the simplest of things in the real world provide much more profound emotional engagement compared to the online, resulting in more distinct days, and therefore, a more distinct experience of time. And in my opinion, it feels like less of a waste. Even the little things, like your sensory experience, are profoundly impacted by the environment you put yourself in. Just the way the wind feels on your skin, the way the sun starts to warm you after a cloud moves away, raindrops, and the way the outside smells when it's about to rain, going from the cold outside to the warm inside, as you see all kinds of people going about their business. Seeing a flock of birds fly over you as they migrate, witnessing the giant living organism known as nature, and actually feeling the life that is around you. Every little thing, every little feeling adds to your overall life experience and makes it more memorable, even if we don't think about it. If you live your life in a stasis chamber with never changing temperatures, moisture, no outside contact, no breeze and no sun, how would you even be able to tell the difference from one moment to another? In such a sterile, clinical controlled environment, does time even have any meaning in stasis? If a rock was left in an empty field, and the field and the rock never changed in any way, shape or form, then would time even matter? The answer is no, because time only ever exists in motion, in relation from one moment to the next. This is why it can be affected by you traveling near the speed of light. Time is relative because it is a perpetual act of motion. Even as you're watching this video, the atoms in your body are always vibrating. Your chest moves up and down to make you breathe. Your blood is flowing through your body as your heart is pumping it out. Movement is constant. To move is to live, and to lay there in your rot is death. Time is ever changing, because without change, time loses its relevance. So as you lay there, in your routine, unbothered yet unmoving, Ubering your food, looking at your screen, going over the same apps over and over again, doom scrolling, gooning, drinking, or whatever cheap thrills you use as your vices, making your same mistakes, you are practically dying. The year does not matter, nor does the month, the week, or the day, as you slowly become a forgotten memory. So if you want to feel like time matters, and the year actually feels like a year and not a blink, then you need to change. You need to move, ideally forward, and you need to keep going. So hopefully, you've realized by now that if life is all about change and motion, you need to live in the now. You don't postpone your healing, because you might as well just not be doing it. Any change that has to take place must do so in the present. And let's talk about changes that actually help you. I'd like for you to think about what is the bare minimum amount you need to feel satisfied in a day. We're not talking about how to make every day super happy and blissful for you. No. What are the most basic, fundamental goals you need to fulfill in a day to feel accomplished? Write them down and do them every day. If you don't know what they are, make it a priority to find out. But usually, from my personal experience, it is working on your projects, socializing, and exercising. Once I do these things at a bare minimum, I feel satisfied for the day. And sure, doing the minimum might sound like not that big of a deal, but functionally, this is the easiest way that change happens. Smallest steps possible, but consistently. Which, side note, I think it's hilarious just how wrong those alpha male or business high value breadwinner tips are. Working for 9 hours a day, then exercising for 2 more, and then taking a cold shower and brainstorming new ideas would drive the average person insane. Even if you don't take those tips seriously, I feel like through repeated exposure, those memes subconsciously implant the idea into your mind that you need to do something extraordinary, and that when your life sucks, you just gotta go harder. I mean, be honest, how many of you would have believed me if I just started saying that, oh, you need to start taking some cold showers and intentionally add pain into your life to stop wasting time and start being productive? No. Well, you can take cold showers if you want to. It's not gonna necessarily help your situation. You can start making new experiences by simply choosing a new flavor of your favorite drink, tweaking a recipe, going to a part of town you seldom visit. We are gonna break this sterile lifestyle through easy and gradual introduction of more novel, emotionally engaging stimuli. And to start building patterns of trying out new things instead of sticking to the old brain rot routine, we need to get the pilot back on board instead of letting your automatic mechanisms take the wheel. Because if they got used to trash, they're gonna give you trash. And subconsciously, you might even crave the predictability of trash. So you have to remind yourself that while getting out of the eternal mud is hard and can be miserable, staying there is a guaranteed slow and painful decay. If you really struggle with disassociating, then you can try to ground yourself by naming 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, and 1 you can taste. Or start listing your favorite things. There's lots of different grounding techniques, and I hope you look them up yourself once you realize that you have been in a low but prolonged state of disassociation for a while now. And that should help you achieve your bare minimum goals for today. But remember, we're people. We need breaks as well. Burnout can ruin everything we worked for really quickly. So it's better to take it slow and steady rather than do the biggest things for change. And sometimes, we don't want to do anything. If you can tell that for some reason, today nothing's working for you, you can turn it into a fun day by trying to participate in your hobbies, for example, instead of procrastinating on your phone, going down the Hungary-Estonian-Mongol connection rabbit hole. And most of the time, when we properly relax, we actually want to work of our own volition. Relaxation is part of a healthy life cycle, so you don't just need to hit your bare minimum goals for today to be happy, but occasionally reward yourself properly for your efforts. And no, phone addiction is not a reward. You know it's not even fun most of the time. We just use and abuse it because it's the lowest effort thing we can do. I mean, like playing a video game that makes you have fun and relax, for example. That's like the direction we're looking for, which I feel kind of strange recommending, since back then, our problems were related to playing too many video games, but even movies have become a challenge now. Anyway, keep working, keep improving, and keep relaxing, and you will be so much better off, immediately. No, because seriously, living a sterile half-life sucks. It's more hard on you than a healthy lifestyle. This is not a no pain no gain situation, it's more like a bit of pain in the beginning to feel good again, versus having your limbs slowly atrophy and rot off as you beg every day for the loving visit of the Grim Reaper to grant you that sweet release. So, to summarize, so you can write it down on a sticky note and remind yourself to do this, try small but new things that gradually get bigger the more comfortable you are with them, even if they involve socializing. Then, ground yourself if you catch yourself disassociating. Next, find the bare minimal amount of goals that satisfy you for a full day. Start with the smallest possible action and go from there. And remember to relax properly to avoid burnout and properly regulate your nervous system. Since being under constant stress is extremely stressful, as you might imagine. And keep living in the now. Keep living in the motion of the infinite ocean we call life. If you truly start living your life now instead of reacting to it, then you'll never waste even a single day again. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, you can like and subscribe if you feel like it, or join my Discord in the description below. Thank you so much to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing, awesome, and so kind. I appreciate all the support I get from them, and if you want to support me as well, the link should be in the description below as well. Now, thank you again, and bye bye.